All right, family. So when it comes to this particular subject, if you want the full entirety of its context, please check out my last video. I went into the nitty gritty when it comes to the big baby situation. So make sure if you guys are listening to this particular video, when you're either disagreeing with me or you agree with me and you're trying to figure out why you're on either side of the game, make sure you check out my last video. I went into full detail on everything Big Baby Miller. It's about 15 minutes of goodness. So make sure you guys check this out. Now, this particular video is going to be quick. It's going to be fast. It's going to be thorough. And the reason for that is because when I was reading this article, right, there was something particularly that stood out to me that I was like, wow, I just couldn't imagine. It was powerful to me. Um, it made me a little bit sad on the inside, but it also made me a little bit, just thankful and putting me in a type of mindset where it's like, man, life. It don't matter, who you see succeeding, achieving. One thing can happen in your life and it can change everything, and you basically be back at the bottom trying to build your way back up. It's almost, it's astonishing. So, let's go ahead and get into this, okay? And I know you guys are like, what do you think? Especially if you didn't watch the last video, like, what are you talking about, Flu? Let's get into it, okay? So, Miller recently, I think it was either today or yesterday, he went to the Nevada Commission to talk about whether or not he's going to be placed, off of his suspension. It was either going to be two choices: either they were going to extend it or they were going to reduce it. Okay, so it was this particular statement from Miller that absolutely shocked me and rocked me to my core, and I'm gonna tell you guys why after I read it. Okay, he said, "I lost my wife. I lost my home. I lost my career." Miller noted during an impassioned speech. "Now I'm in court fighting to be with my son. Financially, I'm still required to pay legal fees. This is bigger than boxing. It means being there for my son, for my mother." I'm going to read that again. "Financially, I'm required to pay legal fees. This is bigger than boxing. It means being there for my son, for my mother." Why is he saying that? Well, let me start off by saying this brother don't got no income coming in. Boxing was his income. Without that, how is he going to continue to pay for legal fees and fight for his son in court if he doesn't have that? So what he's saying is, I'm asking you, Commissioner, I'm asking you, Executive Director of INSAC, Jeffrey Mullen, please shorten my sentence so I can get back to making money, so I can be there for my son and be there for my mother. And why does this shock me and hit me to my core? Because a lot of you guys are saying, well, he made his own bed. This was his bad choices. He did this to himself. At the end of the day, as a man, especially a man, who's went through this life and didn't have the easiest life and struggled and had to build himself up to get to a certain point where he was respectable, et cetera, to look at Miller and say, okay, let me put myself in his shoes. I'm 28, 29, 30 years old. I'm making the most money I ever thought I made. By the way, remember, Miller was very strong. He was very headstrong. So he was his own promotional company. He was basically an independent boxer all the way up until he signed with DAZN and Eddie Hearn for that Anthony Joshua fight. A lot of people don't know that. So he was making money, but he wasn't making money, right? Even though Big Baby was a pretty big name before he even fought Joshua, right? So just think about that. 28, 29, 30, you're making money you never thought you would make. Then you sign on with DAZN, you about to fight Joshua and possibly make money where it's going to be life-changing. It's going to feed your kids. And then it gets taken away from you. Then you find yourself 4 to 5 years later, 35, 30, 34, 35 years old, rock bottom. Now having to build back up. I just couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. I don't care what he did. I don't care if it's solely his fault. I don't care if it's stupidity. At the end of the day, as a man who's worked for something, building something, put his all into something, you gotta feel some type of way. And that shit rocked me to my core, man. There was another statement I also wanted to go ahead and read as well. This is from Mullen, okay? "Big Baby Miller is a gifted fighter. I have great sympathy for him, in that he has not fought in nearly 4 years. Basically, he hasn't made any money from his job in 4 years. However, he has tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs in 3 different jurisdictions. He did not follow the drug test in terms of the suspension." And this is the part that's interesting to me. "He did not follow the drug test in terms of the suspension. He was to start the drug testing program. He tried to start, and then it was discontinued after 1 test." Now, a lot of people are going to judge Big Baby right off the bat. He's still cheating. He didn't even want to do it when he was out. Save your fucking criticism for later, people. Check this out. "He restarted VITA testing, voluntary and good faith, which was a great move. However, I don't think it will set a great precedent to reduce the suspension based on the events of the past year." So his hope was to return to the ring in the next few months, though Miller acknowledged that a fight of any kind was not scheduled. or even an advanced talk to take place at any time prior to the end of his current suspension. Now, I skipped something that I want you guys. This is the big part, because everyone wants to say something about, how are you gonna, basically, start the drug testing program and then get discontinued after one test? There's a reason why he didn't continue it and he just started back up. And you guys can say cycle all that. No, Miller accepted his role in failing to live up to the specified terms, acknowledging that Cohen, his co-promoter, and his manager have been financially supporting him in the past year. So he just now has been in a position where he can pay for the VADA testing. So the undefeated heavyweight who turns 34 in July used that second chance to re-enroll in VADA late last summer, remained in the gym throughout the. So he did not have enough money while he was out on suspension to pay for the VADA testing. And obviously, we all know we had this hearing come up, so I'm pretty sure now his manager and his co-promoter came to him and said, hey, we're willing to fund VADA testing for this past year as long as you plan to make a return in 2022. Simple as that. So I thought that was, for me, I just thought that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to beat a dead horse because, like I said, I just went into the nitty gritty in the last video, so I'm going to leave it here. But I just want to know what you guys think about that. Do you have any sympathy for Big Baby at all? It's a slap in the face. It's a shocker to me. I do. I'm happy to see him back, but I want to know what you guys think. Let me know below in the comments. Be 100 with me. You know what I'm saying? And I'll leave it at that.